Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm, and you are watching 12th and final part of What If Naruto Became a Player. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, wasting no more time, let's start the story.
The only reason Naruto's face was wet was because the world was crying. It wasn't the deep sadness he felt from losing someone that made his face wet. Everyone in the world was sad about the death of one of the best people who ever lived. He didn't understand what was going on. Nothing worked. He did what he had to do to save Konoha. As soon as he and his team brought the last civilian they saved from the hospital into the evacuation shelter, he got the notice that the job was done. Quest alert. Save Konoha. The village is being attacked, so do everything you can to protect it and its people. Objectives. Get a group of people to help you defend the village. Help 50 civilians get to safety. Kill 20 of the people who are trying to invade. Defeat Shukaku. Goals for extras. Stop Orochimaru's ninja from taking Uchiha Sasuke hostage. Tak no Jutsu, Sabukugara. Help Hayate and Yugo get rid of Baki. Award for completion, 1 million express. 250,000 express per bonus objective. Failure to finish. The Konoha was destroyed. People were locked up, tortured, and killed. So where did he go? Why was the old man killed? Was it because he chose to go to the hospital instead of the Hokage Tower? If he hadn't gone into the shelter, could he have still gone to the Hokage Tower and fought to help there? He had so many questions, but no one would ever answer them. It doesn't feel real, does it? Sakura asked. She was standing next to him, but he didn't remember her coming. Naruto said, "It doesn't," but his voice shook. He wasn't in the mood to talk at all. At that moment, his mood was as dark as his clothes. "You two were close," she said in a quiet voice. "I'm very sorry for your loss." "I'm sorry for all of our loss," he said in almost a whisper. Naruto stood in the rain and let it soak him from head to toe. Even when people started going home to mourn with their families and friends, it didn't matter. He could see Konohamaru and Asuma standing with their clan members. They looked just as sad as he did. Naruto-kun called Nara Yoshino. "Why don't you come with us home tonight? We could use the company." Naruto nodded absent-mindedly. He let the caring woman lead him away from the funeral in a gentle way. "I just can't believe he's gone," he whispered. "He will be greatly missed," Yoshino said, agreeing with him. "Gigi," Naruto finally cried, letting Yoshino wrap him in a motherly hug, which he desperately needed even though he didn't know it or understand it. "You've been to bed and slept there. HP and CP have been fully fixed." It had been a week since the funeral, and the village hidden in the leaves was just starting to get back to normal. All of the sensei were away on missions, and the genin, like him and Karen, were put to work fixing up the village after the invasion. Even though things were getting back to normal, Naruto still felt the loss of the person who was the closest thing he had ever had to a grandfather, and probably ever would have. He didn't want to do anything, not even train, if he could avoid it. As part of his deal with the Kyuubi, the only thing he did was clear his mind. Someone knocking on his door saved him from having to think about it anymore. He quickly checked the time and saw that it was too early for Karen to be up, so it must have been someone else. Naruto walked around his apartment in his boxers and a t-shirt because he didn't care to get dressed, even though his gamer ability had woken him up an hour earlier. After he opened the door, he opened it just a little to see who was there. "Ero Sennin? Where have you been?" he asked, almost demanding, as he fully opened his door. "I've been on a bender, kid," he said, holding the door frame for support because he was tired. Naruto would have asked what a bender was, but since the man smelled like sake, it was likely that he had been drunk for the past week. "You're done with your bender?" "I've been sad about my sensei for 7 days, but now it's time to get back to work, which is why I'm here," he said as he walked into the apartment and went straight to the kitchen sink to get a glass of water. "Training?" Naruto asked. "Mission. I want you to come with me," he said after drinking his first glass of water. "What is the goal?" "We're looking for my old teammate," he said. Then he drank a second glass of water and poured himself a third one. Naruto didn't care about any of that as he felt his veins freeze. "Orochimaru," he snarled in anger. "Not that teammate, but believe me, if the mission was to find him, I'd be happy to do it. This time, we're looking for Tsunadeheim, my other teammate. I thought she was retired or something, so why do we have to look for her?" She's a wanderer, but I've been told to get her back because the village needs her right now. I want you to come with me so you can train along the way, and also because I've heard rumors about Akatsuki that make me nervous about letting you go for too long. I'll get my stuff, and then we can go, Naruto said as he started to head to his room to get ready. Jiraiya told Naruto, calm down, kid. We won't be going for a while. I've got a pretty bad hangover to get over first. For now, why don't we sit down, and you can tell me what happened to you during the invasion. This was more or less a command. So, he told the Sannin everything that happened, from the mission to help people and save civilians to having to choose between the hospital and the Hokage Tower and everything that happened with the special event. A lot of it was said while feeling bad about oneself and having to hold back tears. You did the right thing, Jiraiya told Naruto when the story was over. But if I'd gone to help the old man, he might still be here, Naruto said. Or else he'd be dead anyway, and so would you and your friends, said Jiraiya. Listen, kid, neither you nor any of your friends would have survived what happened near the tower that night. It was the bloodiest fighting I've seen since the Third War. A lot of Chunin and Junin died fighting off the invasion force, and more are hurt and might not be able to return to being shinobi. I also know for sure that Sarutobi-sensei would have been incredibly proud of you and your friends. He would have done the same thing to protect those who were innocent, sick, or hurt. You also kept that Uchiha kid from falling into Orochimaru's hands, which is a lot more important than you think. Can you imagine what Orochimaru would be able to do if he ever got his hands on the Sharingan? You've already told me how powerful that crap is, so what would happen if someone like Orochimaru used it? Naruto couldn't stop the chill that went through his body. Not good. No, that's not good at all, Jiraiya snorted before putting on a very serious face. I know it hurts, kid, because it hurts me too. But it will get better in time. For now, let's find something else to do, eh? The only thing the boy could do was nod. And for the first time since he heard the old man had died, he felt a little better. He had talked to his friends a little, but it wasn't the same. His gamer's mind didn't stop him from feeling. Instead, it helped him control those feelings better. So, after taking a deep breath in and out, he thought again about why Jiraiya was here. How important is this mission? A rank, but only because it's important. I don't think there will be much danger, except for Tsunade's temper, the old man joked as he poured and drank another glass of water. Where should we begin? Our Heim has a gambling problem, so we start by going to different gambling halls and casinos. Eventually, someone will be able to point us in the right direction, he said. Naruto could only nod to show that he got it. He couldn't help but think of his own bookmaking skill, though. Going to places like these would be a good way to get some experience. Jiraiya said, why don't you make us something to eat? I'm sure Karen will be here soon anyway. This got Naruto out of his thoughts. He said, sure, how does a veggie omelet sound? Works for me, kid, said Jiraiya, who was now sipping his water instead of drinking it all at once. After that, the room was quiet. Naruto was cooking, and Jiraiya was trying to will himself to get over his hangover as soon as possible. Karen joined them in the end, sitting quietly at the table while she was still half asleep. They all enjoyed the peaceful meal together. Karen finally broke the silence by asking, what time are we supposed to be there today? 11 o'clock, but Ero Sennin asked me to go on a mission with him, so I'll be gone for. Ero Sennin, how long is this mission expected to take? At least a month, maybe 2, he said as he put down his half-eaten breakfast and sat back. Okay, I'll tell the others. Maybe when you get back, you can finally explain to them how your gamer ability works. They haven't asked because of how you've been acting, but... Well, I have to go. Good luck on your mission, Naruto-kun. He told her, thanks, Karen. I'll try to explain when I get back, but she was already walking away. Anyway, we're leaving around noon, so do what you need to do and show me those notes you got in the meantime. Naruto opened his bag of tricks, pulled out Orochimaru's Juin notes, and gave it to Jiraiya. I need to make a copy of this, so I need to go get a blank book. You go take care of whatever else you need to, and I'll meet you at the south gates at noon. The older man stood up and headed for the door, still a little unsteady on his feet. He moaned, I'm never drinking again, even though he knew that wasn't true in the least. See you soon, brat, he said as a final farewell. Sure thing, Ero Sennin, Naruto said as he locked the door behind the man. When he looked around his apartment, it seemed pretty clean, so he didn't need to do much before he left. He might have just gone to see the landlord to make sure his rent was paid so he wouldn't come back to Konoha and find he'd been kicked out. After getting dressed, Naruto went back to his bag and took out the other skill scroll he had gotten that night. You now have the Futon, Rankuden no Jutsu, skill scroll. Do you want to learn how to do it? Naruto pressed Y, which caused the scroll to burst into flames and smoke. You now have the skill, Futon, Rankuden no Jutsu. When Naruto opened his list of skills to check out the new one, he couldn't help but whistle in delight. Futon. Rankuden no Jutsu, active, LV1 Express, 0.00% carbon monophosphide, 300. And a ranked ninjutsu. Take a deep breath, and then slam your hands on your stomach to create external pressure. This pressure is used to shoot a highly compressed airball out of your mouth. Because a lot of chakra was worked into it, it explodes as soon as it gets to its target, doing a lot of damage. Deals explosive damage 300 to 350. Chance to give the target the concussed status. Talk about being overpowered, Naruto said with a small grin on his face. Naruto was out the door a few minutes later, after looking over a few things on his list of skills. During the invasion, several of his skills had leveled up a lot, but he hadn't really looked at them too closely. Naruto banged on his landlord's door downstairs, but the old jerk made it through the invasion. When he opened the door, he asked, "What do you want?" Naruto said, "I'm going on a mission today, and I might be gone for a month or two. I don't want my rent to be a problem while I'm gone, so I'm here to take care of it now." The old man's tongue clicked in anger. "If you don't fix the furnace, you can pay me 1,000 ryo for every month you plan to be gone." Naruto accepted the mission right away, and instead of getting sidetracked by repairs, he paid the man 3 months' rent to get it over with. Naruto ended up just wandering around on the streets because he still had a few hours before he had to meet Ero Sennin. He didn't really need to buy anything because he still had enough supplies. When it came to buying things, his reputation in Konoha went up a lot after the invasion. He gained 400 good reputation points with almost everyone in Konoha. It felt strange to go to a general store or farm stand and be treated like a normal person, with no staring or threats, just a, "How can I help you?" from their staff. It was hard to believe that things could change that much. "Hey, Naruto," said a voice that Naruto knew was Kiba's. "What's up, Kiba?" Naruto asked his friend as he turned to face him. "Rival. Whatever. Not much, I'm just going to meet up with my team," he said with a slight shrug. "How well are they doing?" "Good, because we've mostly been fixing stuff in the village, and Sensei is still out on her own mission." "Me too. In fact, I'm going on a mission with Ero Sennin today." "Lucky, I wish we had a real mission." "Is your team going with you?" "No, I think it's just me and Jiraiya," she said. "Even luckier," the boy grumbled. "Yeah, well, man, my luck never works out. It's totally messed up. I get an awesome mission, but it turns out to be crap. Or I'll win a lot of money gambling, but then I'll get a fine for something stupid." "Sounds like video game luck to me," said Kiba with a laugh. "What do you mean?" Naruto asked, since he never really paid attention to that when he played games. "You've never noticed it?" No. *T, it's like karma. If you do good things, you get rewarded, but if you do bad things, you get punished, right?" he asked. Naruto asked, "What about when bad things happen to you? Do you get something good to make up for it?" Kiba shrugged. "I don't know, but probably. In games, the hero always has bad things happen to him, but he also gets cool stuff and rewards for being the hero. I guess it's a balance thing." "Huh, that's interesting. I wonder if it's my bad luck that this crap keeps happening to me?" A special act was done to learn a special skill. After learning how hero's karma works, your luck has been revealed, and a skill called Gamer's Karma LV Max has been made to control your luck. Gamer's Karma, passive, level max. Luck is the chance that something good will happen to you or to someone you care about. Karma is the balance between good and bad actions. Good actions lead to good results and rewards, while bad actions lead to bad results and punishments. As the gamer, your chances of getting a reward are higher, but to keep things fair, the difficulty is also higher. Passively adding 100% to luck. Passively, DV goes up by 25%. When DV went up, luck went up by an extra 100%. "Oh, that's messed up," Naruto grumbled. "And what in the hell is DV?" Difficulty value, said Kiba. Naruto gave him a flat look. How would you know that? Kiba asked with a smile, what? I used to play video games a lot before I got Akamaru. I kind of wish you didn't know that, because now I know it, and it really pisses me off, Naruto said, trying to keep his cool even though he could feel a vein in his neck starting to throb in anger. What went on? The gamer's luck. Skill was made, Naruto said. Kiba laughed out loud right away. Ha. Only you, Naruto, and I'm sure glad I don't have your problems. You have no idea, Naruto told him. Well, it's your problem now, Kiba said. Anyway, I've got to go meet my team. See you later, and good luck with that. Thanks, jerk. Since he didn't have anything better to do, he kept walking around until he came across a shop he hadn't seen before. The shop sign said, Konoha Realty, which he read. The building had a few burn marks, but nothing too bad, and the sign said they were open for business. When he checked his reputation menu, he was surprised to see that he was on good terms with the place, even though he had never seen it or been there before. That probably also meant he had never played a joke on it or its owners. Friendly. 501,000's Konoha Realty. Welcome to Konoha Realty, said a young woman who was way too happy and cheery as he walked in. Ah, thanks, Naruto said. The fake smile the woman was giving him made him feel bad right away. It wasn't the fake, I hate you, smile he was used to seeing. Instead, it was more like, I have to smile, but I really don't care. So, did you lose your home in the invasion or are you just looking for a new one? We have a few great listings that might be of interest to you, she said right away. A new home was never really something Naruto had thought about before. He had lived in his crappy apartment for as long as he could remember, but the thought of a new home, one that was his and didn't have a crappy landlord constantly asking for rent and threatening to kick him out, made him excited. Now that was an idea he could support. About what are we talking? Well, that depends on you. Do you know how many bedrooms and bathrooms you want? Do you want a condo or a house? Do you know what kind of neighborhood you want to live in? These are all things you need to think about before you spend the kind of money it takes to buy a home. What kinds of prices? Again, it's different, so let's start with where you'd like to live in the village. That was a hard question for Naruto to answer. First, he thought he should be near the tower so it would be easier to get to his missions. Then, he thought he should be near his friends. Finally, he thought he should be near the training fields. I have no idea. The woman's smile finally started to fade, and she pulled a folded map out of her desk drawer and unfolded it. The map was of the village, and it was marked with maybe 100 pieces of tape in different colors, mostly red, green, blue, and a few orange and yellow. Red are listings that need a lot of work to make them livable. There are a lot of these after the invasion because there was a lot of damage. Orange are in pretty bad shape but can be lived in. Yellow are in the middle, with a little bit of damage to fix but can be lived in even without repairs. Finally, green are listings that are completely livable and have no damage at all, but they are usually older homes, so the style is a bit out of date and they may need a. Makes sense, Naruto said as he looked at the map. There were a lot of red things. But he didn't want to have to rebuild the house from scratch, so he got rid of those. Don't worry about the red. I can fix almost anything, but I don't want to do that many repairs. The woman nodded and folded up the map to put it back in her drawer, but when she opened it again, she found 4 more. When she opened the first one, all that was on it was an orange marker. Naruto thought that the others were for the yellow, blue, and green markers. Now, anything in orange will cost between 700,000 ryo for a studio in a colorful neighborhood and 2.5 million ryo for a 3-bedroom in a nicer neighborhood, she said, stopping Naruto in his tracks. And that's the end of my research into getting my own place, Naruto said in a simple way. Now, don't be like that. If you have good credit, you can always get a loan from the bank, she said with a smile that never left her face. He said, no, I'm not going to get a loan. I'll just have to save up for a while until I can pay cash. He didn't want to do business with the Konoha Bank, which he'd never even been to, let alone risk his money with. Oh but sir. Thanks, but no thanks, lady. Anyway, I have to go. Good luck ripping off the next fool, he said in a harsh tone, and then he left very quickly. He would buy his own place someday, but at those prices, he wouldn't even think about it for a while. Because of how badly you treated a working woman, your reputation with Konoha Realty has dropped by 250 points. Naruto said, damn it. and cursed himself and the stupid system that had just gone out of its way to screw him over. Which made Naruto think about what he had said to the woman. There's no doubt that he was rude to her. But it also made him realize that the woman was right to suggest he borrow money from the bank. He wasn't ready to get a loan from the bank yet, but he might in the future, so he should start building a good reputation with them now. He probably should have looked into it. It was the adult thing to do, and just thinking about it made him shiver. It wasn't hard to find the bank because it was right next to the Hokage Tower. It was a small building with only 2 floors, but it was made to withstand a Biju attack just like the Hokage Tower. The gray outside of the building and the black bars that protected the windows were nothing special. Naruto could barely make out what the fuin was, but he knew it was something special. Naruto shook his head to get his mind off of what the seals were and instead focused on getting into the bank. He looked at his reputation one more time to make sure he wasn't hated, but it was clear that people didn't like him. As soon as he walked in, a guard said, "Good morning. Please tell me why you're here." "I need to open an account," he said. Obaga Ganyo LV-47, the security guard, pointed to a counter on the left side of the lobby where a man with a was standing around his head. "Don't make problems." Naruto could only nod because he didn't want to cause trouble. He just hoped no one would get him into trouble. When he did what he was told, he went to the counter where he was told to go. The man behind the counter sneered at him. "What do you want?" The young genin had a frown on his face because all he wanted to do was beat up the jerk, but he knew that was a bad idea. "I need to open a bank account?" Getting old stinks, but dealing with the bank stinks even more. Join Konoha Bank by opening an account. Value of difficulty: 1 plus 0.25 equals 1.25. Objectives: pick one of the 3 standard accounts to open. Put down the money you need. Goals for extras: the reward for finishing the quest is a higher reputation with Konoha Bank. More bonus objectives will lead to a better reputation with Konoha Bank. Failure to finish: lost reputation with the Konoha Bank. Naruto hit the button that said, "Accept," without giving it much thought. The clerk asked, "What kind of account would you like to open?" "What kinds are there?" "There is a checking account, so you don't have to carry around all your cash and risk getting robbed. You can open a savings account that will pay you interest for keeping your money with us. There are also investment accounts that let you buy stock in different companies across the elemental nations, which may go up or down in value." It was a very rough explanation, but Naruto was able to get the main idea. But he would be fine with a simple savings account for now. Just an account for savings. The minimum deposit is 10,000 yen, and interest is only paid after 100,000 yen have been put in. The neat stack of 250,000 ryo was enough to stop the clerk from being rude. "Is that enough? It hasn't been stolen, has it?" "No," Naruto said with a strong voice. "I've been saving up. Now that I have enough money, will you let me open an account or not?" "Fill this out," the clerk said with a sigh of resignation. After a few minutes, Naruto turned in the form and got a booklet in return. One line that said, "Deposit $250,000 was printed on the inside of the booklet. Bonus goal reached. Plus 10 reputation with the Konoha Bank for every 10,000 ryo deposited after the first 100,000. When you finish, you get plus 100 reputation with the Konoha Bank." "Nice, 250 rep with the bank," he said to himself with a small grin. He put the booklet in his inventory and was more than happy to leave the bank. Your WIS has gone up by 2 because you made a smart decision to invest your hard-earned ryo. Investing your hard-earned ryo wisely pays off, and your int has gone up by 1 because of it. Double nice, Naruto said as he closed the 2 windows that were telling him about his unexpected improvements. Even though there were only a few things less to train, that made a difference. After a quick lunch at Ichiraku's, which was a little early, Naruto went to the gate as planned to meet Jiraiya. "You're late, brat," Jiraiya said in a harsh voice. Naruto looked at the watch post's clock on the wall. 1 minute, he said quickly. "You're still late," Jiraiya told her. "Anyway, you ready to go?" "Yes, let's get going," he said in a simple way. Slug Princess on the loose as an A-rank quest. Find Senju Tsunade and persuade her to come back to Konoha. Value of difficulty: 50 plus 12.5 equals 62.5. Objectives: find out what you can about where Senju Tsunade is. Goals for extras: award for completion, 1,200,000 express. 100,000 Ryo. Improve your standing with Konoha. 300,000 Express per bonus objective. Completion failure. 120,000 Express. Lessen your standing with Konoha. A bad Hokage is chosen. Oh, fuck, Naruto almost yelled in anger. There was no way to say no. Problem? Asked Jiraiya. New quest. Can't decline it. We're in big trouble. It was just 3 simple sentences, but they made sense. Plus, there was the new difficulty value, which gave him a number and the required 25% increase in difficulty. This number didn't tell him anything, though, because he had nothing to compare it to. Jiraiya tried to make him feel better by telling him, "Meh, I'm here with you. You'll be fine." Naruto wanted to cry because Jiraiya didn't seem to be taking this seriously enough, and he knew that no matter what he did, he couldn't change the pervert's mind. Boy, we're wasting the day. Let's go. Status. Name: Uzumaki Naruto. The gamer's class. Genin, increases experience gain by 10%. Level: LV38 next level, 1.22%. Belongs to Konoha. HP: 8,563 8,563. CP: 6,004 6,004. Base plus bonus equals the total. STR: 134 plus 68 equals 202. VIT: 117 plus 359 equals 476. Dex: 134 plus 84 equals 218. Int: 108 plus 114 equals 222. Wis: 109 plus 110 equals 219. Luck: 19 plus 30 equals 49. Def: 489 plus 122 equals 611. SPD: 99 plus 172 equals 271. HPR: 48 plus 124 equals 172. CPR: 22 plus 72 equals 94. Status: Uzumaki Clan Heir, plus 100 Vit, plus 100 Int, plus 150% experience to Fuinjutsu. Skill: Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level. Inspirational Leader gives your team 25% more experience, and Kamikaze lowers the cost of your Futon Jutsu and makes it do 20% more damage. Uzumaki Naruto was the last person to graduate this year. He got a low grade because he couldn't make a basic Bunshin. After the test, Naruto showed his worth by stopping a traitor and learning 2A rank Kinjutsu. Now that his family is known, he has a lot to be proud of. He is the son of the Yondaime Hokage Namikaze Minato and the Nidaime Kyuubi Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina, which is a great legacy. But that doesn't answer the question of how the Kyuubi got away. Point 26. Ryo: 251,650. Gamer's Mind, passive, max. Allows the user to think things through in a calm and logical way. Lets you have a calm mind. Immunity to the effect of psychological status. Gamer's Body, passive, max level. Gives the user a body that makes the real world feel like a game. He gets his HP, CP, and all status effects back after he sleeps in a bed. Gamer's Karma, passive, level max. Luck is the chance that something good will happen to you or to someone you care about. Karma is the balance between good and bad actions. Good actions lead to good results and rewards, while bad actions lead to bad results and punishments. As the gamer, your chances of getting a reward are higher, but to keep things fair, the difficulty is also higher. Passively adding 100% to luck. Passively, DV goes up by 25%. When DC went up, luck went up by 100%. Status: during the game, you can get and use a wide range of temporary and permanent status effects, such as stun, sleep, etc. And Sharingan, Hyouten, etc. Some permanent effects can only come from your genes, while others need you to do something specific. Earn your title and get different and sometimes helpful titles as you play. STR: your strength affects how much damage your physical attacks and weapon attacks do and how much damage your ability to parry reduces. When both STR and Dex go up by 1, the speed goes up by 0.25. VIT: your total HP and endurance are affected by your vitality. If you have more vitality, you can take more damage and fight for longer. This also affects how quickly you get your HP back when you're not fighting. 10 HP are equal to 1 point of VIT. 1 VIT point is worth 0.10 HPR every 5 seconds. Dex. Your dexterity affects how well you can avoid attacks and how well your attacks hit their targets. When both STR and Dex go up by 1, the speed goes up by 0.25. Intelligence affects how many CP you have and how much damage your jutsu do. Your ability to learn and remember things is also affected by 10 CP are equal to 1 point of int. Whis. How smart you are and how well you can use what you know depend on how wise you are. This has a huge effect on your chakra control and how fast it recovers when you're not fighting. 1 point of Whis is equal to 0.10 CPR every 5 seconds. Luck is the chance that something will go your way when you're not fighting. Most of the time, this affects gambling and loot drops. HPR. Health regeneration is how fast you get HP back when you're not in battle. CPR. Chakra regeneration is how fast you get CP back when you're not in battle. DV. A mission, training field, or special event is given a difficulty rating based on how hard it is. It seemed like Naruto's new worst enemy was his fear. The trip Jiraiya took with him away from Konoha was calm and quiet. Except for Naruto, who jumped every time a shadow moved or the grass moved. This is really scaring you, huh, kid? Yes. Naruto said with certainty. You should be much more scared, because things like this never end well. Have you ever failed at one of these quests? No, but that's not the point. If I fail, it's really bad. Usually, these kinds of missions end with me dead or Konoha destroyed. This time is even worse than that, evil Hokage. Do you even hear what I'm saying? Jiraiya gave a roll of the eyes. But you've never failed at one of these missions before, right? No, but. Then take it easy. You won't start failing now, Jiraiya said. What gives you that idea? Jiraiya sighed. They had been on the road for most of the day, and it was about to get dark. Let's call it a night here. Out there in the open? Calm down, you damned brat. We're shinobi. If we're going to be attacked, it's better that it happens out in the open than in the city, where civilians might get hurt. Also, no one is going to mess with us, so just calm down, said Jiraiya, moving off the road and dropping his pack in a clearing. The man made a few quick hand seals and then slapped the ground. Naruto knew the seals as soon as the pervert started them, but he was still curious about why he was summoning now of all times. As the smoke cleared, Jiraiya looked down and saw a dozen small gray toads with green spots on them. Okay, sentry toads, you know what to do. And just like that, the dozen small toads were gone. Naruto asked, sentry toads? They set up a boundary around our camp so we can sleep and not have to keep watch. If anyone or anything comes into their boundary, they'll let us know, Jiraiya said. Naruto asked, how will they warn us? You'll know it when you hear it, Jiraiya said, grinning like the cat that ate the canary. For now, set up your tent and get some wood to make a fire. I'll go get us some water. Naruto looked sad. He didn't feel good about how things were going. Jiraiya didn't seem to care that they could be attacked at any time. Still, he didn't have a choice in the matter. Setting up camp didn't take long. Before Jiraiya came back with a bucket of water, Naruto set up his tent, got some wood, and even dug a small fire pit. Sit down. Your walking around is getting annoying, Jiraiya told him as he put up his own tent. I can't help it, Naruto snapped back angrily. Kid, if you don't sit down and relax right now, I'm going to knock you out, Jiraiya warned. Besides, your gamer's mind should help you stay calm, right? Naruto was about to get mad, but he stopped himself with his mouth open. What was making him so angry? He had no logical reason to be so upset about the situation, so why was he? Something's wrong, he said in the end. This is what caught Jiraiya's eye. What's wrong? I shouldn't get this angry. I should be able to stay calm and think things through logically, but right now I can't even think straight. Jiraiya ran across the clearing and started pulling Naruto's clothes off with the help of the young man. Once, Naruto stood all by himself. How do you feel now? Embarrassed, but still calm enough to think. Then we'll check your clothes, Jiraiya said, taking the boy's jacket first. First, Naruto grabbed his boxers to look at them as closely as he could. His observe skill went off without him saying anything. Plain boxer shorts are just plain white boxer shorts that are meant to keep you from showing too much. The level of observe has gone up by 1. When he saw that the shorts were clean, he put them back on first. When he didn't feel sick, he got his pants. Black medium leg armor, enhanced armor, is a tough pair of long pants made of thick cloth and lined with leather and medium chain mesh. This armor protects you pretty well from weapons. Most shuriken and senbon won't do much damage, even if they hit you. Requires LV20. Stats. Plus 155, def, plus 15, st, r, plus 20, vit, plus 5% stealth effectiveness, 75/75 doer. Fuin. Plus 150, vit. Again, seeing nothing, he put them back on, but again, he didn't feel any different. Jacket looks clean, Jiraiya told Naruto as she handed him the jacket. He used observe anyway, just to be safe. Crimson medium body armor, enhanced armor, is a tough long-sleeved jacket made of thick cloth and lined with medium chain mesh and leather. This armor protects you pretty well from weapons. Most shuriken and senbon won't do much damage, even if they hit you. Requires LV20. Stats. Plus 155, def, plus 10, st, r, plus 10, vit, doer 75/75. Fuin. Plus 100 def, plus 50, vit. The guards on his shins and forearms were the same and clean. So all he had left were his sandals. He hissed when Jiraiya picked him up. Son of a whore, he snarled in anger. Naruto turned on his observe and asked, what is it? Black genin shinobi sandals. These sandals are made of a tough material that looks like cloth. They are perfect for genin because they don't get in the way of their flexibility or chakra flow and also give them more protection. Requires LV. 11 stats. Plus 10 def, plus 5% more effective, stealth, plus 1.00 to speed, doer 50/50. Fuin. Plus 20 s, p, d, plus 10 dex. Fuinjutsu nobody knows. That's new, it wasn't there when I got up this morning, Naruto said. What's that? It's not genjutsu. I think this is more chemical, maybe adrenaline and something else. We're going to seal these away for now. Do you have a different pair of sandals? The man then pulled out a scroll and sealed the sandals away quickly. Unfortunately, no, Naruto said, and he couldn't help but frown. Who the hell did that? When the hell did that happen? Where did you go today? A bank and a real estate office. Probably not the real estate office, but maybe the bank. They use a lot of fuinjutsu to protect the building and its assets, he said while rubbing his chin. I guess I'll walk around barefoot until we get to the next town, Naruto said with a bit of a shrug. He wasn't a baby who had never been outside without shoes. Jiraiya, on the other hand, took out his bag and put it down hard on the ground. Then, with his brow furrowed in thought, he started to look through it. After a minute, the old man's face lit up with a aha, and he pulled out a pair of geta and threw them to Naruto. Naruto's observe skill turned on as soon as he thought about the wooden sandals. Young Jiraiya's geta. Jiraiya wore these hard wooden sandals when he was young, and he kept them out of sentimentality. They've been worn a lot, but they're still very strong, even though they're old. Shinobi don't often wear these traditional shoes, but they have been slightly changed to make them both stylish and useful. Requires LV20. Stats. Plus 30 def, plus 10 kick damage, doer 150/150ths. Fuin means void. Nice, Naruto said, pleased with the shoes. They'll work at least, Jiraiya said. They're better than the sandal you took, Naruto said as he opened his Uzumaki Fuinjutsu skill menu and chose plus 20 s, p, d and plus 10 dex to feat. Really now? Jiraiya asked. Then I thought you'd be willing to pay me for them, especially since you're already using Fuinjutsu on them. Naruto asked Jiraiya, how many of my birthdays have you missed? To get her to shut up. Okay, let's get back to the sabotage, Jiraiya said. It's not the first time, Naruto said. He wasn't really paying attention to Jiraiya while he put the fuin on his new sandals, but if he had, he would have seen the man's knuckles turn white and the muscles in his jaw bulge from clenching his teeth too hard. Before taking a deep breath, the man grumbled for a minute. Anyway, I'll look into it more when we get back to Konoha. Do you feel better now that that seal has stopped messing with your body? Much better, said Naruto. He really did feel a lot less stressed. But how would the person who did that know what to use on me? Why use chemicals when genjutsu would have been easier? That's a very good question. I think we have to assume that whoever did it knew about your gamer's mind, and how it protects you from mental effects. But by amplifying certain chemicals in your body, they could affect you physically, which would then affect your emotions, Jiraiya said. It was very clever and very, very dangerous. If that had stayed on you for much longer. The rest of the message was not said. Naruto could only nod to show that he got it. Who would know that information then? Jiraiya said, "Your friends, your sensei, and the old man," then groaned as if he had just realized something important. I should have locked up the old man's files sooner. Someone may have gotten into them before I could lock them up. I think I know who did it, but it will be hard to prove. Who? Shimura Danzo, answered Jiraiya. Naruto opened his reputation menu right away. Shimura clan, hated, 100 out of 1,000, and I now have a Shimura Danzo listed. He has 3 question marks and a 0 out of 1,000. That sounds about right. Well, things just got a lot more dangerous, as it seems Shimura Danzo has decided you are an enemy. What about me? Danzo is a complicated man. He loves Konoha more than anything. He would do anything to make sure Konoha is always the best village, the strongest village, or maybe even the only village. He's beyond ruthless and will do anything to make Konoha stronger. He was Sensei's rival for the title of Sandaime. As for Yu, I can only guess. Maybe he thinks you're a threat to Konoha. Maybe he fears your potential. Or... Great, and now he has it out for me, Naruto said. So get stronger so that no matter what he throws at you, he can't touch you. It was said as if it was obvious and easy. And with your gaming skills, you could become the strongest person ever, especially if you decide to be my full-time apprentice. What is it? It means I would take over all of your training until you either surpass me or decide you no longer want to learn from me. Are you interested? The book, Apprenticeship, is now out. Jiraiya Sensei. If you choose to be Jiraiya's apprentice, you'll get +2 STR, +1 VIT, +2 Dex, +1 Int, and +2 WIS per level you gain while working with him. You will also get +100% experience when training Fuinjutsu, +50% experience when training any ninjutsu skill, and +50% experience when training Kuchiyose no Jutsu. Do you want to learn from Jiraiya and become his apprentice? Naruto didn't have to think about it, so he quickly agreed. I accept. Good, now that we've taken care of that and set up camp for the night, there are a few skills you need to learn, and the sooner you learn them, the better. Naruto asked, what do you want to do? He was then hit with so much killing intent that it shocked him. That anyone, let alone his godfather, could want to kill him so much scared him to his very core. What? What was that? Naruto asked as he stood guardedly in front of Jiraiya. He said, killing intent, and then he did it again. Jiraiya's plan to kill Naruto hit him like a hammer on an anvil. It was just a blunt force instrument with no subtlety. When it went away again, he asked, why? You need to be able to sense it. Your gamer's mind lets you ignore it and do what needs to be done, but you still need to be able to sense it so you can make the right choice at the right time, Jiraiya said, letting out the intent once more. First, we make it clear, and over time, we'll make it more and more subtle, until it's as easy to tell if someone wants to kill as it is to tell if they're breathing. Naruto had no choice but to grit his teeth and keep going as the older shinobi kept putting him in the path of the intent. Through a special act, a special skill has been made. Through repeated exposure to intent to kill, a skill that lets you send out your own intent, LV. One has been made. Intent, passive, active, LV1 express, 0% carbon monophosphide, 25 every 5 seconds. The ability to say that you want to hurt, kill, protect, or do anything else. You can now use your chakras and body to say what you want without using words. You can also sense what other people want. Passively, the chance of detecting intent goes up by 1%. Increasing resistance to intent, 1% passively. When active, the intent stat goes up by an extra 1%. When active, resistance to intent is increased by 1% more. When active, shielding others from intent gets a 1% boost. You can stop. I learned the skill, Naruto said, still struggling with the killing intent that was messing with his feelings, even though he was trying to ignore it. Good, now it's time to level up, Jiraiya said, redoubling his efforts. He kept hitting Naruto with blows that were meant to kill him until the boy finally passed out from exhaustion. You have slept in a sleeping bag in a tent. HP and CP are both healed by 50%. When Naruto opened his eyes, it was easy for him to hear the usual morning message. He really didn't like Jiraiya, and that training wasn't cool. He knew why Jiraiya wanted him to learn it, because it was a very useful skill, especially if he was going to be in charge of other people. He needed to be able to use his own desire to kill to protect others. Still, it was really hard to learn. After breakfast, the two people broke down their camp and got back on the road. A little after noon, they walked into a small town. Since the town wasn't too far from Konoha, they could have made the trip in one day, but it was probably best that they stayed the night after finding the seal on Naruto's sandal. Naruto looked around the town and asked, "So what's the plan?" He didn't see any guards, and people were going about their business without looking worried. Naruto looked at Jiraiya but didn't get a response. When he did, he saw that the man was gone and only his pack with a note on it was left. What the hell? Jiraiya was already walking down the street with a woman wearing a rather revealing dress. Damned pervert, he grumbled as he picked up the note and his sensei's pack. Check into a hotel, I'll find you later. P.S. Don't wait up, Naruto read out loud before he tore up the note. That jackass. So Naruto, who was grumpy, asked around for the closest hotel. It turned out that the whole town had only two. One that served shadier people, which is probably where Jiraiya was. And the other was used by regular people, so he chose to look into that one. In the rented room, Naruto carelessly threw Jiraiya's pack on one of the beds and then threw himself on the other bed, which looked like a good place to relax for a few minutes before he started training. When someone knocked on his door, he hadn't been lying down for long. Naruto couldn't help but give a little chuckle. Shot down already, pervert. Naruto shouted as he walked toward the door, but a message came up before he got there. Killing intent was picked up in front of you, so be careful. That stopped him dead in his tracks. Jiraiya didn't think he would mess with killing intent in the middle of a village full of civilians. With two quick hand seals, a small pop, and a puff of smoke, Naruto's mirror image was standing next to him. With just a nod, the clone went for the door, while Naruto used Totenjutsu, and went out the window to find a higher place to hide and watch from. The door was opened by the clone. The desk didn't give you a key? He asked, as if he expected Jiraiya to answer. Uzumaki Naruto, a young man with dark hair and red eyes Naruto knew well said. This man was a Uchiha, and the only other Uchiha was Itachi, who killed Sasuke's clan. Since this man was also Uchiha, he had to be Itachi. The clone turned on his observe skill and asked, "Who wants to know?" Name: Uchiha Itachi. Title: Nukenin. Level: LV. Next level. Who are you? HP. CP. STR. VIT. Dex. Int. Wis. Luck. Def. SPD. Status: Mangekyo Sharingan, +15 Dex, +19 Int, +12 Wis per level. Absolute loyalty, +25% to all stats when working for. Hinokami, -25% cost to Kaidenjutsu, +20% damage to Kaidenjutsu. Genjutsu Master, -25% cost to Genjutsu, +20% effectiveness of Genjutsu. Itachi Uchiha is famous for killing everyone in the Uchiha clan except for his younger brother in one night. Uchiha Itachi is a member of the group Akatsuki and a wanted S-class criminal. He is not to be taken lightly. The clone looked at the man's partner, who was a blue-skinned giant who looked more like a shark than a man. The shark-like teeth in his mouth didn't change that impression. He turned on his observe again. Name: Hoshigaki Kisame. Title: Nukenin. Level: LV. Next level. Affiliation: Akatsuki. HP. CP. STR. VIT. Dex. Int. Wis. Luck. Def. SPD. Status: Ono Nai Biju, +500 CP per level. Treacherous, -50% of all reputation gains. Mizukami, -25% cost to Suiten Jutsu, +20% damage to Suiten Jutsu. Kenjutsu Master, +25% Kenjutsu attack speed, +20% sword damage. Hoshigaki Kisame used to be a member of Kiri no Shinobigatana Shichinen Shu. He is wanted in every shinobi nation for too many crimes to count. After killing the previous owner of Samahata, he took the blade for himself. Since then, he has been unstoppable. The clone was glad it wasn't the real Naruto because if it had been, he might have died. Slug Princess on the loose as an A-rank quest. Find Senju Tsunade and persuade her to come back to Konoha. Objectives. Find out what you can about where Senju Tsunade is. Keep Itachi and Kisame busy long enough for Jiraiya to come and save you. Goals for extras. Award for completion, 1,200,000 Express. 100,000 Ryo. Improve your standing with Konoha. 300,000 Express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 120,000 Express. Lessen your standing with Konoha. A bad Hokage is chosen. We need you to come with us, Itachi said in a flat, emotionless voice. He asked, is there something wrong with the hotel? As if he didn't know. Can't we just cut off his legs and be done with it? Asked Kisame. The clone shut the door right away and jumped back before it started to take in air and shape chakra as it did so. Before he hit me in the stomach, he put both arms up in front of him. Even though it was only level 1, the futon, Rankuden no Jutsu, was more than enough to break the door and a good chunk of the wall. Wood shrapnel flew all over the hallway and hit the two Nukenin, annoying them more than hurting them. He didn't give them a chance to attack him, so he threw a lot of futon, Kei's no Yeba no Jutsu, at them in the hall. He was trying to burn up all the chakra that had been used to make him, which was a lot. Unfortunately, the clone didn't even get half of its chakra before Itachi killed it with a kunai. The kunai was thrown through the clone's hand, which ended the jutsu attack but also got rid of the clone. As soon as the real Naruto got his memories and extra chakra back from his clone, he knew he had to find Jiraiya quickly. He quickly turned on Toten Jutsu again and ran away. He knew Jiraiya would be near the red light district, so that was his best bet, especially since the psychopath with a Sharingan who could see chakra was chasing him. Naruto hoped that sending out a few clones to act as distractions would buy him some time to find Jiraiya. As he ran, he created clones at random and sent them in different directions. Naruto had to hide on a roof and use his Raiden, Chakra Denka no Jutsu, because he was losing chakra trying to get away from them. Kisame seemed to have made a number of his own water clones, which he used to kill a few more clones one by one. Come on, Arrow Sennin, where the hell are you? Naruto whispered as he stood up and moved again, making more clones. Naruto didn't know how long he'd been running and hiding from the two Nukenin, but he was starting to run out of places to look and run to. Itachi said with no emotion, if you're hoping the Sannin will save you, you should know that we've already taken care of him. Bullshit, said the real Naruto, not a clone of Naruto. This meant that Itachi had caught up to him as well. Oh, you didn't think it was strange that a pretty young woman would approach an older, uglier man, did you? She'll keep him busy long enough for us to take you and leave, Itachi said in a calm voice. If you give up, we won't have to hurt you. Ha, you really think all the noise we've been making won't get his attention? How many bombs have I set off to slow you down? You really think he wouldn't notice? Naruto asked, hoping and bluffing that the pervert was paying attention. He's not here, though, is he? Naruto would have said something sharp and funny in response if the human missile hadn't hit the roof and gone through it and several floors below it. Then Naruto's sensei, who had white hair, walked in. Not bad, Gaki, said a smirking Jiraiya, unlike any Jiraiya Naruto had ever seen before. The man had an old toad on each shoulder, and both of them were completely still and didn't move at all. The man himself had a big, greenish nose that was full of warts. But Itachi didn't move at all, which made Naruto a little worried. Now, you little brat, you should know that I hate using this form because it's so ugly, and if the girls ever saw it, I'd never get any more, the pervert said as he turned to face Itachi without fear. Senjutsu, I see, Itachi said with a slight narrowing of his eyes. So be it, we're leaving now, Jiraiya said. Just as he was about to move, a line of black fire rose up in front of him, stopping the Sannin from giving chase. Che, you jerks. Jiraiya muttered as she pulled out a scroll and quickly put out the fire with it before it spread. Naruto asked, what the hell was that? And what the hell took you so long? One of the old toads that had been attached to Jiraiya hit him in the head. Language, Naruto-chan, the old toad told Naruto. I won't put up with any sass from Jiraiya-chan, much less from a tadpole like you, the older toad said. He then turned and hit Jiraiya hard enough to put him on the roof. Yes, sir, Naruto said, not sure what was going on. Thanks, Pa, Jiraiya moaned as he held his head, which already had a big lump on it. I'll go ahead home, Pa. I'll get started on dinner, which will be grub soup with fried lice on the side, said the older lady toad before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Yum, said Pa, smacking his lips a bit. Now then, Jiraiya-chan, are you and the tadpole going to be safe now? Yeah. The kid did a great job of keeping them busy, which gave me plenty of time to get into Senin Moto, Jiraiya said, still rubbing the bump on his head. Bonus for completing an objective, 300,000 Express. Slug Princess on the loose as an A rank quest. Find Senju Tsunade and persuade her to come back to Konoha. Objectives. Find out what you can about where Senju Tsunade is. Keep Itachi and Kisame busy long enough for Jiraiya to come and save you. Goals for extras. Get away from Uchiha Itachi and Hoshigaki Kisame for 0 hours 5 minutes and 0 seconds .00 without getting caught. Award for completion, 1,200,000 Express. 100,000 Ryo. Improve your standing with Konoha. 300,000 Express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 120,000 Express. Lessen your standing with Konoha. A bad Hokage is chosen. Good. Now don't hesitate to call us if you need us, said Pa. The older toad Jiraiya called Pa. What's going on? Why would you thank him for hitting you? Who is Senin Moto? What happened to Kisame? All of these questions were asked quickly as the quest update was waved away. Kisami's body was the one I threw through the building. I broke a few of his bones and put him out of action for at least 6 months without him being able to heal from someone on Tsunade's level, Jiraiya said, his smile back in full force. As for what's going on, I used the time you spent making those idiots chase you to call Ma and Pa and get into Senin Moto, which gave me the power to throw Kisame around like a ragdoll. Pa hit me at the end of the fight to get rid of the excess Shinzen chakra so it wouldn't kill me. Any other questions? I think that covers it, Naruto said, still confused about what had just happened. Pa looked at Naruto closely and said, he's a good one, Jiraiya-chan. I like the way he looks. This surprised the young shinobi, who didn't even notice the old toad get so close to him. He's fine, Jiraiya said, trying to calm Naruto down before his ego got too big. So, kid, do you still think we're screwed on this quest of yours? Naruto warned, it's not over yet, while grumbling under his breath about stupid perverts with too much power. Jiraiya said, no, it's not. That's why we're going to leave town and start training. Training? You can work on it while we travel because you only need one hand, the Sannin said. I'm going to start teaching you the Rasengan, which is one of Minato's most famous moves. Slug Princess on the loose as an A rank quest. Find Senju Tsunade and persuade her to come back to Konoha. Objectives. Find out what you can about where Senju Tsunade is. Keep Itachi and Kisame busy long enough for Jiraiya to come and save you. Learn Stage 1 of Rasengan. Goals for extras. Get away from Uchiha Itachi and Hoshigaki Kisame for 0 hours 5 minutes and 0 seconds .00 without getting caught. Award for completion, 1,200,000 Express. 100,000 Ryo. Improve your standing with Konoha. 300,000 Express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 120,000 Express. Lessen your standing with Konoha. A bad Hokage is chosen. First step, huh? What makes you think that? Quest update. To learn Stage 1 is my next goal. Good, but for now we need to leave before the local militia shows up and starts asking us questions we don't want to answer. Behave yourselves, said Pa, the older toad, who stood still and watched the two young ones. I'm going to leave now. If you need us, Jiraiya-chan, just call us. Sure thing, Pa, Jiraiya said, giving the toad a quick wave goodbye. Let's go get my bag and leave right now. You have slept in a sleeping bag in a tent. HP and CP are both healed by 50%. Morning, brat, did you sleep well? Asked Jiraiya as Naruto got out of his tent. He didn't understand why Jiraiya was awake before him. Then he saw that the man had a bag full of balloons next to him. How did the balloons get there? Sent a clone to get them this morning, he said. The man smiled as he gave Naruto one. Naruto put out his hand to catch it, but it exploded and sprayed water on him. Arrow Senin, what the hell? Jiraiya, on the other hand, just laughed happily at his joke. "It's not that funny," Naruto said, trying not to smile because he thought it was a good joke. "Good times," said Jiraiya, wiping away a fake tear. He then threw Naruto another water-filled balloon, which Naruto carefully caught this time. "So what's this all about?" Again, Jiraiya smiled and grabbed another balloon. "Pay close attention," he said, and then he turned his attention to the water-filled ball. He used his chakra slowly so that Naruto could see it take shape. He turned his chakra inside the balloon on one axis, then another and another. Each time, the balloon got bigger until it burst into a shower of water. "It exploded, and you did it with chakra, but how?" "Figure it out," said Jiraiya. Naruto asked, "Show me one more time." "Alright," said Jiraiya, taking another balloon. This time, Naruto was ready. He was thinking about how to observe, as soon as the balloon started to get bigger. Rasengan Stage 1. Put your chakra into a water-filled balloon and spin it around on more than one axis at the same time. Naruto blinked when he heard the explanation because it seemed so easy. So he focused on his own balloon and tried to spin it by filling it with chakra. He quickly found out how hard it was to spin the chakra in even one direction, let alone in more than one. "This might take a while," Naruto said. "I figured as much," Jiraiya said with a small laugh. "Now, let's pack up and go. You can work on it while we walk." So, they got their things together and started walking to the next town Jiraiya wanted to check out. Naruto finally made some progress after about an hour. Through a special act, a special skill has been made. By working on shaping your chakra over and over again, Kitai Henka, LV1 has been made, which is a skill for shaping your chakra. Kitai Henka, active, passive, LV. 1 CP. 50 CP every 5 seconds at 0.00% carbon monophosphide. A more advanced way to control chakra that involves changing how chakra looks and moves, as well as choosing the size, range, and purpose of a technique. Actively add 1% to WIS. Reduces by 1% the amount of CP you lose when you use too much chakra. "Hey, I learned a new skill, Kitai Henka," Naruto said happily. "Good job, that's a good sign," said Jiraiya. "Now, just keep practicing, and you'll figure out stage 1 in no time." "How long do you think it will take to completely learn the Rasengan?" Naruto asked. "Well, it took your dad about 3 years to make it. It took me about a year to learn it after he taught me, but I wasn't very serious about it because I had other responsibilities. But now, it's one of my favorite jutsus. No hand seals, a lot of damage, good times," Jiraiya sighed, seemingly lost in a memory. "Alright," Naruto said. "Hey, it seems like all the things I do to control my chakras make my wisdom stat go up. If I put my points into wisdom, would that make it easier for me to learn this? It's likely that if WIS is your main control stat, increasing it will help you learn it faster." Naruto's brow was wrinkled for a minute as he thought. He had been trying to figure out what to do for a while. With his training weights, he would never have to spend stat points on Dex, STR, or VIT again. Not that he needed to worry about VIT, since the Kyuubi gave him plus 100 HP at every level. So, he didn't need to spend the point on Int either, since the Kyuubi gave him an extra 100 CP every time he leveled up. And just like that, he knew that from then on, he should spend his points on WIS. So, when Naruto opened his status window, he put all 26 of his extra points into WIS. "So, you got it, huh?" "Yeah," he said in reply. "Making a wise decision about your development has led to a 5-point increase in your WIS." Naruto opened and closed his eyes. For one action, that was a huge increase in WIS. Imbalance has been lost because priorities have changed. Through a special act, a special skill has been made. Planner LV Max was made by focusing on making wise decisions, which is a skill that takes time and effort. Planner, passive, LV Max. You can be a better leader and planner if you make good decisions that make sense. These qualities are better when you plan ahead. Regain 0.125% CP passively every 5 seconds per level. All skills cost 5% less CP without you doing anything. Through a special act, a special skill has been made. Planner LV Max has become Tactical LV Max by putting a lot of effort into making good decisions, which is a skill that requires wisdom. Passive, tactical, LV max. You can be a better leader and planner if you make good decisions that make sense. These qualities are improved by being tactical. Regain 0.25% of your CP passively every 5 seconds per level. Reduces the cost of CP for all skills by 10%. Passively adding 5% to WIS. What the hell? Status. Name: Uzumaki Naruto. The gamer's class. Genin, increases experience gain by 10%. Level: LV38 next level, 5.44%. Belongs to Konoha. HP: 8563 8563. CP: 6004 6004. Base plus bonus equals the total. STR: 134 plus 68 equals 202. VIT: 117 plus 359 equals 476. Dex: 134 plus 84 equals 218. Int: 108 plus 114 equals 222. WIS: 140 plus 149 equals 289. Luck: 19 plus 30 equals 49. Def: 509 plus 122 equals 636. SPD: 99 plus 171 equals 270. HPR: 48 plus 124 equals 172. CPR: 29 plus 644 equals 673. Status: Uzumaki Clan Heir, plus 100 VIT, plus 100 INT, plus 150% experience to Fuinjutsu. Skill: Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level. Inspirational Leader, plus 25% to any team's experience gain. Kamikaze, 25% cost to Futon Jutsu, plus 20% damage to Futon Jutsu. Uzumaki Naruto was the last person to graduate this year. He got a low grade because he couldn't make a basic bunshin. After the test, Naruto showed his worth by stopping a traitor and learning 2A rank Kinjutsu. Now that his family is known, he has a lot to be proud of. He is the son of the Yondaime Hokage Namikaze Minato and the Naidame Kyuubi Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina, which is a great legacy. But that doesn't answer the question of how the Kyuubi got away. Point. 0. Ryo. 251,650. Apprenticeship. Jiraiya Sensei. If you choose to be Jiraiya's apprentice, you'll get plus 2 STR, plus 1 VIT, plus 2 Dex, plus 1 INT, and plus 2 WIS per level you gain while working with him. You will also get plus 100% experience when training Fuinjutsu, plus 50% experience when training any ninjutsu skill, and plus 50% experience when training Kuchiyose no Jutsu. Passive, tactical, LV max. You can be a better leader and planner if you make good decisions that make sense. These qualities are improved by being tactical. Regain 0.25% of your CP passively every 5 seconds per level. Reduces the cost of CP for all skills by 10%. Passively adding 5% to WIS. Intent, passive, active, LV9 Express, 36.14% carbon monophosphide, 25 every 5 seconds. The ability to say that you want to hurt, kill, protect, or do anything else. You can now use your chakras and body to say what you want without using words. You can also sense what other people want. Passively, the chance of finding intent goes up by 5%. Passively increasing resistance to intent by 4%. When active, intent goes up by an extra 3%. When active, resistance to intent gets a 3% boost. When active, shielding others from intent gets a 3% boost. Keitai Henka, active, passive, LV. 1 CP, 50 CP every 5 seconds at 0.00% carbon monophosphide. A more advanced way to control chakra that involves changing how chakra looks and moves, as well as choosing the size, range, and purpose of a technique. Actively add 1% to WIS. Reduces by 1% the amount of CP you lose when you use too much chakra. Jiraiya said with a smug smile, for as much as you complain about overpowered Uchiha bullshit, that is some really overpowered bullshit. Naruto defended his new overpowered skill by saying, hey, the Uchiha still has the stupid, overpowered Sharingan, and if his eyes are strong enough, I'm sure he can copy any skill or technique just by looking at it. Okay, You make a good point, Jiraiya said. Still, that's a great advantage to have. When are you out of combat? When you stop fighting to catch your breath or get ready for a jutsu, or when the fight is over? When the fight is over, so I can't just stop fighting in the middle of a boss fight to hide and recover my chakra. Well, I can, but I have to use my Raiden, Chakra Denka no Jutsu, to do that, Naruto said. Also, as soon as I use a technique, I'm in combat, so I can't just use a cheap skill to make it infinite and never run out of chakra. It won't start refilling until I stop using techniques for a minute. Still, that will make training ridiculously easy. As long as you're not in combat, you can use skills and techniques non-stop until you're empty, then rest for a few minutes and do it again. I'm kind of jealous. Naruto said, well, gaming is hard work, so a skill like that helps me with my hard work is very valuable. I just wish I'd learned it sooner. Naruto's ability to practice his chakra-intensive skills without limits, as long as he takes a few minutes to rest afterward, really changed the game for him. Anyway, there are a few small gambling places in the next town, so we'll split up to cover more ground. Even after what happened just now with Itachi and Kisame. You mean after you sent them on a wild goose chase through that town, giving me plenty of time to get ready, and then gave Kisame a good kicking and scared Itachi away? I think you can handle yourself long enough for me to come help you if you need it, Jiraiya said, making his point well. Naruto could only nod to show that he agreed. How much further is it to the next village? Not too far, maybe another 2 or 3 hours at this pace, he said, looking down the worn dirt road.
It actually took 4 hours because 3 stupid thieves tried to get a toll from the 2 people.
They weren't even worth any experience. At least he was able to use up most of his chakra every 10 minutes and then rest for about 2 minutes before doing it again, giving Keitai Henka 23 levels. It was so strong, but it was so cool. Keitai Henka, active, passive, LV. 24 CP, 50 CP every 5 seconds, 88.41% CP. A more advanced way to control chakra that involves changing how chakra looks and moves, as well as choosing the size, range, and purpose of a technique. Actively raise WIS by 24%. Passively cuts by 12% the amount of CP you lose when you use too much chakra. Reduces the cost of CP for all skills by 4%. Even though he was getting better at changing his shape, he still hadn't learned stage 1 of the Rasengan. Naruto moaned, this jutsu is hard. He was getting tired of the chakra burns on his hand, even though they healed almost right away. Did you really think one of your father's original jutsus would be easy? He was the Yondaime Hokage for a reason, you know. Even as they walked through the gates of the small village, Naruto could only pout. Now, no jutsu while we're here, especially in the gambling halls, got it? Sure, but why? Naruto asked with a slight shrug. These guys usually think you're cheating if you use chakra, and they're usually pretty hard on cheaters. Naruto replied, but we're ninja. If we're not cheating, we're not trying. That doesn't work in this case. How are you going to find out more? I'm going to play a game with the guy who looks the most shady in the gambling hall. If I can get him to talk for a while, I'll ask him if he knows where Tsunade is because she owes me money. And what if she also owes them money? I'm going to make an offer to buy the marker, he said. What if it costs more than you have now? I'm going to find you, Naruto said. You'll buy the marker after that. Good, now get going, Jiraiya said as he walked into the village and vanished. Naruto went into town with the plan to get some ramen first. He wanted to test a theory that ramen chefs and waitresses at the local ramen stand know everything that goes on in a village. He could have just been talking about how he felt. The ramen chef and his waitresses didn't know anything, which was sad. It seems that not everyone who goes through the village stops at the ramen stand. Naruto thought it was strange that the local ramen shop wasn't a big tourist attraction, but he figured that some people didn't know any better. Still, he was able to find out about some of the gambling places and who to watch out for in each of them. Naruto's ears were assaulted by the sounds of about a dozen pachinko machines, and his eyes had to get used to the dark room and flashing lights from the machines. Naruto walked past the machines and into the room in the back, giving the guard a single nod.
It was strange how quiet the room in the back was.
He could see that 4 people were playing mahjong at a small table to the right of the door. From what he could see of the pot on top, he knew that it was a very expensive game to join. On the left, a man was sitting with his back against the wall. In front of him was a simple bamboo bowl with 2 dice. This was a Han game, but no one was there right now. At the back of the room, there were 2 tables with cards on them. One table looked like it was playing blackjack, and the other looked like it was playing poker. Naruto finally went after the poker table, where 3 men and 1 woman were gambling. Even though she wore a bright red kimono, the woman seemed the most sketchy of the 4. She was older because she had lines around her eyes and on her neck. But it was her gold teeth that gave him the creeps. He could see them as soon as he walked into the room. When he sat down, the other players gave him different looks. He could see the greed in their eyes as clearly as if they were wolves staring down at a lost lamb. They didn't think much of him, which he could use. 50,000 buy-in, the dealer said. Naruto put a stack of clean bills on the table, and the dealer took them and put a stack of chips in their place. So, little boy, what brings you to this upstanding den of ill repute? One of the men asked. Toshi, amateur gambler, LVL. 4. I'm looking for someone, he said, and that was the truth. He couldn't lie right now because it would show up any tells he might have. During the trip, Jiraiya had told him a lot about different tricks and traps used in gambling. If you're not careful, little boy, you're going to get into trouble, said a different man, who was looking very sad as he glared at his cards. Sadoichi, desperate gambler, LVL. 7. I can take care of myself, Naruto said, shifting a little to make sure he could feel the kunai hidden up his sleeve in case he needed it. All of his other weapons and anything that could give away the fact that he was a shinobi were hidden in his inventory, so he felt pretty naked right now. The old lady said, leave the kid alone and deal the next hand. Yuri, card shark, LVL. 17. He was right, he would have to watch out for this woman. The dealer gave each of them 5 cards. Naruto put his cards up to see what he had.
All spades, an ace, a king, a queen, a jack, and a 2 of hearts.
Place your bets, the dealer told everyone. Different bets were made around the table. Sadoichi was the first to fold. Yuri bet $20,000 right away, which made Toshi and the last man, Yoshi, fold, leaving it up to Naruto to decide whether to call or fold. Naruto has said that he will match her bet. Then, he moved 1 card face down, and Yuri moved 2 cards to the middle. The new cards were dealt by the dealer. The new card Naruto got was a 10 of spades. He tried very hard not to grin like a crazy person. Oh, so the little boy is happy with his cards, Yuri said with a laugh in her voice. She made fun of him by saying, if that's the case, you shouldn't have any trouble betting the rest of your little pile of chips. He didn't want her to see how happy he was, so he played along and put the rest of his chips in the pot. Yoshi told Yuri, you're a mean girl. Yoshi, store clerk, LVL. 5. The woman gave the man a dirty look and said, you can leave any time. He almost barked at her. Are you going to call or yap all day? Asked Toshi, who was clearly ready for the next hand. Fine, call, Yuri said, putting down the chips he needed to match in. Show me what you've got, you little boy. Naruto just shrugged and put his hand down with the palm facing up. You little jerk, she hissed, jumping up and almost throwing her cards at the dealer. You won't play me again, you little shit, she told him. I just played the hand I was dealt, he said truthfully. It's not my fault that it was the best hand ever. You have won a bet, which makes your luck go up by 1. Naruto was happy that he beat the woman and that his luck was getting better. He must have just learned what he needed to do to improve his luck. The men, on the other hand, just laughed at the woman's anger and what Naruto did. I like this kid, Yoshi said, giggling from ear to ear and giving Naruto a rough pat on the back. He's got some skill, said Toshi, who liked what he saw. Let's play poker right now. The next few hands went quickly, and the bets never went over $10,000. Naruto got a point of luck again because he won 1 hand and lost the others, making him even. So, you said you were looking for someone, right? Yuri asked, having quickly but grudgingly grown to respect the young man who had played her so well. Densetsu no Kamo, he answered. Ha, well, I'll bet that woman has a kid who can actually win at gambling, the woman laughed, but it was more of a harsh bark mixed with a cackle. Naruto would have told her she was wrong, but if it helped him, he would have let the illusion continue. He didn't have to say she owed him money. She owes me money, Toshi said with a groan. She owes us all money, Sadoichi said with a laugh. Naruto took a nervous swallow. How much money does she owe?
She owes me 100,000, Yuri said with a shrug. Don't worry though, she always comes through in the end. She does some medical work here and there and charges whoever she fixes up a lot of money to do so. Still, I should buy her debts from each of you, Naruto said. Oh, you have some honor. It looks like you didn't get it from your parents. Here's what I'll do. You win this game, and I'll consider her marker paid in full. Now that's a bet I can get behind. Let's make a side bet with Tsunade and put all of our markers on her if the kid wins. If we win, let's say her markers double. Deal. And if he wins, you tell us everything you know about where she is, a new voice Naruto knew said. Ero Sennin, why would you do that? Naruto asked the bigger man as he turned his head slightly to glare at him. Because I can, and if the kid loses, I'll pay her markers, Jiraiya said. Jiraiya, she said to Yuri in a cold voice. Yuri-chan, the pervert said with a sleazy grin. How's your daughter doing? Pregnant, Yuri said, causing Jiraiya's face to turn pale and show that he was scared. But don't worry, it's not yours. It's his, she said, directing her icy gaze this time at Yoshi. I married her first, Yoshi said as an excuse. You still defiled my daughter, she shot back. Haven't we all? Jiraiya grumbled, and the two other men at the table nodded. Yuri's face twitched a little as she tried not to jump up and try to strangle all the men. Naruto groaned, Ero Sennin, and his face showed that he couldn't believe it. I swear I can't take him anywhere. I'm starting to like you more and more, kid, Yuri told him with a small smile of kindness. But stop stalling. The side bet has been made, so let's start playing. They played for hours, with Naruto's luck going up and down as his chip stack went up and down. He found out that losing a lot had a bad effect on his luck when he lost 10,000 Ryo in a single hand with 4 fours against 4 kings. Last hand, said the dealer when Naruto and Yuri were the only ones left. All chips to the center. Each one of them got 5 cards. Naruto got his cards together. All of the suits are different, Jack, Jack, 10, 4, and 2. 2, Naruto said, putting the 4 and 2 together. Getting 2 cards back. 4, Yuri said with a frown as she turned in 4 cards. The last card was an ace, so she was right. Naruto took another look at his cards, including the 2 new ones. With Jack, 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 10, and 10, the player has a full house, which should be enough to win the game. Ladies first, Jiraiya said from where he was standing behind Naruto. It hurt so much to see. The woman turned over each card one at a time, starting with the 7 and ending with the ace. Then, Naruto turned over his own full house and let out a sigh of relief. He had a better hand than she did. Winning big pays off big, causing your luck to go up by 5. Che, I can't believe this kid is the sucker's kid, grumbled Yuri. It's hard to believe that woman would have children, let alone that he'd have good luck. Jiraiya, on the other hand, was caught off guard. Sucker's kid? He said. That's why the kid is looking for her, right? I could see her abandoning a kid like that. That woman runs away from everything, said Yuri. Right, of course, Jiraiya said, trying hard not to laugh. Make sure everyone knows that her child is looking for her and will pay off all of her debts. Yuri's eyes got a little narrower, but she seems to have let it go. Okay. Where is Tsunade? The last time I saw her, she was heading south toward the capital, probably to do some kind of medical consultation for the daimyo or one of his wives. Thanks, Yuri Obasan, Naruto said to the older woman with a smile. Obasan? She nearly screamed in anger. But Jiraiya and Naruto had already left, so it was too late. Naruto asked, so we're going to the capital? Nope, if she saw Tsunadeheim going south, then she was actually going northwest, he said as he took a map out of his pack. After a minute, he said, here, and pointed to a town on the map. Tanzaku Gai, Naruto read aloud. Jiraiya said, it's a big gambling town with a lot of casinos and less reputable gambling houses. That's where she'll go. That woman can't help but go there. Okay, so let's go, Naruto said, eager to get going. Hold on, we're going to stay at a hotel for the day so we can rest. It's already 3 a.m. It's that late? Naruto asked. He knew they had been playing for a while, but he didn't realize it had been that long. Yes, it is. Let's go get some rest, and we'll leave tomorrow at noon. You've spent the night in a bed. 75% of your HP and CP are back.
As usual, when Naruto woke up, he quickly closed the morning message and got out of bed. He took a shower and brushed his teeth as usual. After that, he left Jiraiya to sleep and went into Tanzakugai to keep looking for Tsunade. They had already been there for 2 days and hadn't heard anything about her. In the meantime, Naruto had won quite a lot of Ryo from gambling, which helped spread the story of the sucker's winning son. He should try to stop the rumors, but Jiraiya wouldn't let him because Tsunade would come running to kill the pretender as soon as she heard about them. He was a little worried about the last part, but Jiraiya told him nothing would happen once she saw he was there, too. He couldn't help but worry a little more that it might make things worse. He was more worried about his quest getting stuck. He had hoped that when he finished stage 2 of the Rasengan training, it would push him to learn the third and final stage. Even though he was already working on it, it still bothered him. Slug Princess on the Loose as an A-rank quest. Find Senju Tsunade and persuade her to come back to Konoha. Objectives. Find out what you can about where Senju Tsunade is. Keep Uchiha Itachi and Hoshigaki Kisame from Jiraiya long enough for him to get there. Learn Stage 1 of Rasengan. Stage 2 of Rasengan to learn. Locate Senju Tsunade. Goals for extras. Get away from Uchiha Itachi and Hoshigaki Kisame for 0 hours 5 minutes and 0 seconds .00 without getting caught. Award for completion, 1,200,000 Express. 100,000 Ryo. Improve your standing with Konoha. 300,000 Express per bonus objective. Completion failure, 120,000 Express. Lessen your standing with Konoha. A bad Hokage is chosen. So, when he wasn't gambling, he kept training and getting better at his skills, at least the ones that wouldn't attract the wrong kind of attention. Even though he didn't get any experience or side quests, it kind of paid off. Intent, passive, active, LV. 27 Express, 92.14% carbon monophosphide, 25 every 5 seconds.
The ability to say that you want to hurt, kill, protect, or do anything else.
You can now use your chakras and body to say what you want without using words. You can also sense what other people want. Passively, the chance of finding intent goes up by 8%. Increasing resistance to intent, 8% passively. When active, intent goes up by an extra 7%. When active, resistance to intent goes up by an extra 7%. When active, shielding others from intent gets a 6% boost. Keitai Henka, active, passive, LV. 72.12.41% carbon monophosphide, 50 CP every 5 seconds. A more advanced way to control chakra that involves changing how chakra looks and moves, as well as choosing the size, range, and purpose of a technique. Actively raise WIS by 72%. Reduces by 36% the amount of CP lost when using too much chakra. Reduces the cost of CP for all skills by 12%. So, that was his plan. He would train on the edge of the city from the time he woke up until around noon. After training, he ate lunch in town and then went back out to train again. At dusk, he would go to the casinos and win money, but he was careful not to win too much and get kicked out. He learned the hard way not to win too much on his first night in town, when he won a lot and then won more. In short, he was told that he could no longer gamble in the eastern part of Tanzakugai. But the plan for today would be different. He was finally going to check out the huge, crazy castle that towered over all the other buildings in the city. He had been planning to go for a few days, but he always needed just one more skill level. By the time he went, he'd have 5 or 6 skill levels, and it would be too late to go as a tourist. So I went on an adventure this morning. Exploring that area quickly made a big difference in his observe skill. He gained 17 much-needed levels in a short amount of time, and that was just on the way from the hotel to the castle. Observe, passive, active, LV66 experience, 88.01% carbon monophosphide, 5. By observing things, situations, and people over and over again, you develop a skill that lets you get information quickly. The more skill you have, the more information you can get. As he went through the ticket gate, a woman in an old-style kimono said, "Welcome to Tanzakujo," and gave him a brochure. It only cost 500 Ryo to get in, so it wasn't very expensive and wouldn't have been a problem even if it had been. As it turned out, he was very good at gambling. When Naruto got a closer look at the castle, he couldn't help but be amazed. 2 soldiers in old samurai armor stood guard outside the main gate of the castle. At first glance, it looked like they were actors, but based on their heights, it was easy to believe they were real samurai. Ichi Sanjo, Samurai Guard, LV-32. Nanto Kato, Samurai Guard, LV-31. It was a good thing, too, because Naruto got an unexpected message as soon as he was about a foot away from the gate. Solo Event Tanzakujo, Infiltrators, DV-54. A local army of bandits wants to take over this castle and make it their new stronghold. Don't let them take the keep, and force them to leave. Protect the other tourists from the bandits who have sneaked into the crowds and are hiding among the people, and beat Oyabun no Azuma. Level 32 is the best choice. Ah hell, Naruto said. He called out, guard guys, but he wasn't sure if he could get their help. The older of the two, Sanjo, asked the younger, "What do you need, child?" "I think you might be having trouble with bandits. Do you have proof? We can't go after wrong information from a child." Naruto was about to point with his thumb to where his Konoha headband should be on his forehead when he remembered that he wasn't wearing it. After a moment of grumbling, he opened his inventory to put it on, but an error message came up. "You can't change your gear while you're in battle. Son of a." He wasn't happy with the way things were going. "What kinds of proof do you need? If there are thieves here, they are probably members of the Yonkei's Sanzoku. Each of them will be holding a fake coin with the kanji for 4 on one side and wind on the other. Bring us a few of these coins, and we'll take your warning seriously," said Sanjo. Event goal. Don't get caught while getting 10 Yonkei's Koka. "So, either I figure this out or I leave now and forget about it all," Naruto said, mostly for himself. Then he let out a long sigh. "Who am I kidding? I'm going to win this event, no doubt about it." So, Naruto was in a tough spot. Because of his, observe, it wouldn't be hard to find out who was in the Yonkei's Sanzoku. But how could he get the coins without getting caught? He would have to steal the coins, which meant he would have to learn how to pickpocket the bandits very quickly. "Okay, let's give it a try," Naruto said, and he went up to the first man he saw who was part of a bandit group. He did everything he could to be as quiet as possible. He put his hand into the man's pocket, but it was empty. So, he went for the other pocket, but the thief grabbed his hand and turned angry eyes on Naruto. "Go pick another pocket, you brat," the thief told Naruto as he shoved him away. Naruto, on the other hand, only let out a sigh of relief. He could have had a lot of trouble because of that thief. Still, he was going after something. He didn't want to test his luck by going after the same guy, so he chose to find another thief and try to steal from him again. This time, he got lucky. Not only did he get his first coin, but he also stole 2,000 ryo from the fool. Through a special act, a special skill has been made. Sticky fingers have given you access to things that don't belong to you. A skill called Pickpocket LV1 has been made to help you steal things without getting caught. Pickpocket Level 1 Active 0% Carbon Monophosphide, 5. The ability to take something from a person without them knowing. 15% chance of being able to pick someone's pocket. And with that, Naruto knew that this event would take a while. After almost 2 hours, he finally got the last coin from the first thief he had tried to rob but failed to do so. He went back to the guards with the coins. Kato asked, "And just how did you get your hands on those?" With a tone that didn't say much else besides suspicion. "I'm a Konoha genin," Naruto said, hoping that was enough to explain himself. "Che, you stupid ninja," snarled Kato as he reached for his sword. "That's enough, Kato," said Sanjo, trying to calm the younger man down. "This young shinobi did us a favor. Close and barricade the gates right away, and then sound the alarm. We need as many of the city guard as we can get here." Kato growled one more time just to be sure, then moved to do what he was told. He closed the heavy armored door by pushing it shut and then pulling a lever to drop iron bars behind it. This held the door in place. Then he ran into the guardhouse and was no longer seen. In less than a minute, loud bells started to ring, making a lot of noise in the castle and the area around it. "Well, that was a waste of time. What do you want me to do now?" Naruto asked, trying to be helpful. "Don't get in our way," Kato snapped when he came back from ringing the bell. "We don't need your kind here." Sanjo just sighed. "It would be best for you to just move along." That was definitely something Naruto didn't like at all. He was the only one who told these two armored clowns about the thieves. Worse, when he looked around, he saw that the thieves had taken people hostage. He sure as hell wasn't going to help. Event goal: get rid of all bandits who have sneaked in. Yeah, that's not going to happen, Naruto said, not caring that Sanjo and Kato ran to attack the bandits as they were getting organized. He took a quick look around and saw that the ground was made of stone, so he couldn't use it to sneak around. It was too bad that he didn't remember until then that he knew another sneaky jutsu until then. So, after scolding himself for not thinking to use it sooner when he was stealing from the thieves, he turned on his Toten jutsu. Damn it, it's too early, yelled Zato, a level 30 bandit. Who the hell told the guards? The man was hoping to get an answer, but he didn't. He looked to the left, where his partner was standing just seconds before taking a young girl hostage. Instead, he saw his partner's dead body on the ground and the girl running away. A year later, Zato joined his old friend in the afterlife, Futon, Hin no Jutsu. Get to safety, Naruto told the people, even though they were running away in fear. He could only hope that they would be okay. He sighed again when he realized he was still invisible. They probably thought I was a ghost. All he could do was a shoulder shrug that no one saw. There were more criminals to kill. All of the hostages were freed in about 20 minutes. The samurai guards made a lot of noise and created a huge distraction, which let Naruto work without the bandits noticing him until it was too late. A scream that made Naruto's skin crawl caught his attention right away. It was Kato, the guard. Behind him stood a thin man with two curved knives stuck through his armor and into his back. Naruto was worried that the thin man could get behind the samurai even though he was standing so close to Sanjo. The other samurai, Sanjo, moved quickly. As his sword arced toward the thin man, it gave off a faint glow. But the thin man disappeared. Shunshin, Naruto grumbled, it was also a good one. Very fast, very smooth, and there's no need to hold hands. This person was a threat. Kagejima Usui, Oyabun no Azuma, LV 34. Usui reappeared behind Sanjo, ready to stab him the same way he had stabbed Kato. It would have worked, too, if the man hadn't been turned suddenly by a futon. Rankuden no Jutsu, hitting him in the side, followed by a powerful front kick to the face that sent him tumbling away. Sanjo looked at Naruto, and his face showed that he was surprised. Get him to safety if you can, and I'll deal with this guy, Naruto said, his eyes never leaving Usui's body. Sanjo moved quickly to do just that, but the downed Usui blew up in a cloud of smoke. In his place was a jug with the kanji for oil on it and a burning fuse. Sanjo grabbed Kato roughly and dove away, trying to get away from the jug that was about to explode. Naruto didn't even notice the explosion because he was already on the move. As Usui tried to sneak up on him from behind, Naruto kicked the man in the stomach. Usui snarled as he brushed some dirt off the brownish cloak that covered him from the shoulders down. And I'm going to enjoy kicking your ass, Naruto said with confidence. From what Naruto could tell with his, observed, skill, they were pretty even when it came to speed and agility. Still, it's best not to drag out the fight. Usui let Kage Bunshin no Jutsu make a dozen clones that moved quickly and spread out. You'll need more than some crappy Bunshin to fool me, kid, Usui said, sounding bored. Naruto blinked as he realized why Usui thought he wasn't as good as he was. He didn't think they were anything out of the ordinary. Did you see through them? Naruto asked, a little bit of his natural prankster coming out. Shunin, he said, jerking a thumb toward himself and then pointing at Naruto. Failed genin. I'm guessing based on your lack of forehead protection, he started, but was cut off when one of the clones kicked him in the side of the head, knocking him out. Another clone came at him low from the opposite direction with a wind-coated trench knife. It scraped against the man's cloak, making a sound like two blades clashing and sending sparks into the air. Usui's face twisted up in anger as he lashed out, spinning in place with his cloak spinning along with him and cutting the two clones that were attacking him into pieces. Okay, kid, now I'm taking you seriously, said Usui. His voice didn't sound like he was joking. Is that good or bad? Naruto asked as he moved his hands to use several, futon, K's no Yeba no Jutsu. Bad for both of us, he said, ignoring the jutsu even though they hit his cloak and stopped there. And you might as well stop using jutsu, because you're just wasting chakra. Look at this cloak. I took it from Asuna Junin a few years ago. It's made of chakra fiber, and it drains the chakra from any jutsu that comes close. He did not expect Naruto to react the way he did. Hey, what the hell are you looking at? He started almost chanting, please let that be my loot for kicking your ass, please let that be my loot for kicking your ass, please let that be my loot for kicking your ass, and soon his clones joined in. It was more than just a little bit scary. Usui didn't like the chant at all, and he showed it by going after Naruto's clones with a vengeance. His cloak's ability to absorb chakra naturally messed with them, but they still managed to hit him a few times, slowly reducing his health. Naruto didn't get much chakra back from the clones he dispelled because Usui's damnable cloak was eating it all. It was once again Kisami's sword. Since jutsu were almost useless in this situation, the non-clone attacked quickly. He would have to rely on taijutsu and bukajutsu. As soon as they started hitting each other, it turned into a fierce fight, and Naruto learned quickly that he had to dodge more to beat this guy. He didn't know until the cloak he was told was made of chakra-absorbing fiber turned out to be made of thousands of tiny, razor-sharp, diamond-hard blades. He found this out the hard way when he cut his hand when he hit Usui's solar plexus with a particularly hard punch. It hurt Usui, but it hurt him more. After that, he changed things so that Naruto could use his trench knives as fake brass knuckles. They didn't get through the cloak very well, if at all, but they did protect his hands and let him keep fighting. In the end, it was the turning point of the fight. They were both fast and agile, but Naruto hit harder, a lot harder. This turned the fight into a war of attrition, which he was not about to lose. Hey, I was wrong about you, kid, said Usui as the fight was over and he was lying on his back. He had cuts, bruises, and scrapes all over his body. It's what happens, Naruto said. So, I'm going to knock you out now so the guards can arrest you. That's fine with me, it's not like they'll be able to hold me for long after today, Usui said, laughing a bit at the end, which turned into a painful cough, the man wincing in pain from what was probably more than a few broken ribs. Congratulations. Tanzaku Joe, Infiltrators is done, solo event. You get 500,000 experience points. Why doesn't that sound good to me? Naruto asked. He got another message, which seemed to answer his question. Tanzaku Joe, Ascenders, DV56, a group of bandits in the area want to make this castle their new stronghold. Don't let them take the keep, and force them to leave. Bandits are trying to climb the outside walls of the castle to get to Oyabun no Nishi. You must stop them and defeat Oyabun no Nishi. Level 33 is the best. Status. Name: Uzumaki Naruto. The Gamer's Class. Genin, increases experience gain by 10%. Level: LV38 next level, 35.58%. Belongs to Konoha. HP: 9413 9413. CP: 6105 6105. Base plus bonus equals the total. STR: 142 plus 79 equals 221. VIT: 125 plus 436 equals 561. Dex: 142 plus 93 equals 235. Int: 116 plus 115 equals 231. WIS: 148 plus 263 equals 411. Luck: 56 plus 70 equals 126. Def: 559 plus 140 equals 699. SPD: 105 plus 188 equals 293. HPR: 56 plus 136 equals 193. CPR: 41 plus 653 equals 694. Status: Uzumaki Clan Heir, plus 100 Vit, plus 100 Int, plus 150% experience to Fuinjutsu. Skill: Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level. Inspirational Leader, plus 25% to any team's experience gain. Kamikaze, 25% cost to Futon Jutsu, plus 20% damage to Futon Jutsu. Uzumaki Naruto was the last person to graduate this year. He got a low grade because he couldn't make a basic bunshin. After the test, Naruto showed his worth by stopping a traitor and learning 2A rank Kinjutsu. Now that his family is known, he has a lot to be proud of. He is the son of the Yondaime Hokage Namikaze Minato and the Nidaime Kyuubi Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina, which is a great legacy. But that doesn't answer the question of how the Kyuubi got away. Point. 0. Rio. 1,226,675.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.